I know a dangerous question you might be asking yourself. It might be in your head right now. I'm not psychic, but I know it enters every man's mind over 50. Is it even worth it anymore? Not just fitness, eating better, or the daily activity, but growth itself. Now that I'm getting older as a man, why should I bother fighting back? Why not relax, take it easy, and just let it all go? I know you've asked yourself this because I have too. At this stage in life as a man, the answer to this question might be the most important decision you make. Today, I'm going to give you answers to 3 negative questions you've had floating in your mind at some point. Answers you probably haven't thought about and will keep you strength training, eating better, and putting in the hard daily work to grow as a man in your second 50 years. But before we go any further, let's address the obvious question. Yes, strength training absolutely works after 50. Men gain strength in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. I've spent over 30 years watching this happen as a physical therapist at any age. If you strength train, you will get stronger. It's a biological process. You can't stop it from happening. But the real question is, why should I bother? Because sooner or later, every man reaches a point where growth feels harder than decline. And when that moment comes, the answer you give yourself to this question will shape the rest of your life. Today, I want to have a different conversation with you, not about sets or reps or perfect form. I want to address the nagging thought that's been in the back of every man's mind, including yours. Maybe I should just start slowing down. And by the end of this video, I hope you'll find your own answer. All right, here we go. Question 1. Why does strength even matter? I don't need to be strong and muscular anymore. Here's something most men never realize. You're constantly comparing yourself to other men, not consciously, but instinctively, every day. It happens in a fraction of a second and just below your thinking brain. For thousands of years, men had to answer one question when they met another man. Can I dominate this guy and take his resources? Or can he dominate me and take mine? That's how we survived as men over the millennia. That comparison affected your status, your opportunities, and your relationships. Ultimately, it affected your survival. And we're still wired to make that comparison today. The problem is when a man spends years feeling weaker, softer, slower, and less capable than the men around him, something in his head starts to change. He stops believing improvement is even possible. That's where the why bother mindset comes from. Deep down, he's thinking, why should I try? I'm already losing to all of these guys. I see this attitude all the time as a wrestling coach, and let me tell you, the effects are devastating. Men who continually lose these comparisons, they start feeling submissive, defeated, hopeless. And a hopeless man quits. Then quitting creates more losses and the downward spiral continues. This needs to stop now. You need a plan that starts moving you back in the other direction. And the fastest plan is strength training. Getting stronger changes how you see yourself. It changes how you carry yourself and how you interact with other men as you start winning these unconscious comparisons. Now, I love combat training, right? But as a wrestling coach, I can tell you it takes time to become good and dangerous, right? I've even been starting to take judo now for months. I'm a yellow belt and I still completely suck at it. But strength training is different. It starts changing you sooner. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and medically, which we're going to get into a little bit later. You need to start winning your subconscious daily battles again. Winning these inner battles builds you up. It makes you feel more capable, more dominant, and wanting to be and do more as a man. Brother, If you're a man who refuses to fade, a man who still wants to be strong and capable and become something more in his second 50 years, then you're in the right place. Here, we know aging is inevitable. Death is certain, but decline is a choice. Question number 2. Shouldn't I relax if training is uncomfortable and I'm too tired? I already worked hard in life. Brother, comfort is killing you. Most men think rest heals them. It doesn't. Rest doesn't build strength. It doesn't improve your metabolism. Rest doesn't increase your energy. It erodes it. If you want to rest, you have to earn it with hard work. We are a society of professional resters. We sit, we recline, we watch, we scroll, right? We consume things. And then we wonder why we feel weak, tired, sore, and foggy. Brother, your male body was built to work, to build, to hunt, to defend, to solve problems, to procreate. Comfort feels good in the moment, but comfort is exactly what's breaking you down. That's why experts now say sitting is the new smoking. And here's the crazy part. Most men think they're tired because they're doing too much. Man, I rarely see a man doing too much. Most men are tired because they're asking too little from their bodies. Too little physical work, too little mental focus, and not enough physical challenge. The metabolism is crashing from pairing inactivity with constant food intake. Their circulation is sluggish because they no longer have a reason to pump healthy blood. Your body operates in survival mode. You can't escape that. And your body won't invest resources in things that it doesn't think you need. If you don't use strength, it takes strength away. If you don't use energy, it stops producing it. If you don't need healthy circulation, it slows it down. Your body is always adapting to its environment. The only question is, what environment are you giving it? An active lifestyle that builds you up stronger, or an inactive lifestyle that tears you down? Rest and comfort don't solve your problems, brother. Rest and comfort create your problems. All right, question number 3. Why should having bigger muscles even be important to me? I don't think that's worth it. This is the biggest secret in health that nobody is talking about. Your muscles are medicine. Most men think bigger muscles just make you look better in a t-shirt. Let me tell you, that's nice, but that's not even close to the real reason. Science now knows that your muscles act like a powerful hormone-producing organ. When you work your muscles, they release protein messengers that make all your other organs healthier. They're called myokines. I like to call them wonder chemicals. When you strength train, you don't get 1 or 2 of those wonder chemicals floating around in your bloodstream. You get hundreds. Science has already found over 600 different myokines, and they're discovering more and more. Now, think about this for a second. Every workout is a trip to your body's internal pharmacy. You work out, you get a dose for boosting your brain, a dose for boosting your heart, a dose for healthier skin, better blood sugar, decreasing chronic inflammation, and even less risk for overall disease. All improving long-term health effects with no side effects. Science now believes these myokines help explain why regular exercise lowers the risk of heart disease, diabetes, dementia, cancer, and many other chronic diseases that we associate with aging. But here's an undeniable fact. Stronger men live healthier, longer lives. And here's the part you gotta understand, dude. You only get these benefits when you move. Your muscles don't release these wonder chemicals while you're sitting in a recliner or on a couch, scrolling or watching television. You have to earn them with focused work. That's why I tell men over 50 that strength training isn't just about being stronger and looking good, although that is great. But bigger muscles release more of the health myokines. Here's the biggest win. Strength training releases these wonder chemicals, but it also makes you have more muscle, which then releases more of these wonder chemicals. It's a massive upward spiral that you need to get on. As a man, more muscle means a better, healthier, longer life. Don't you want that? Here are the 3 biggest mistakes men make when thinking about strength training. Mistake number 1. They're waiting for motivation. Man, most men never feel motivated before any activity. I have worked out thousands of times in my life, and I bet I can count on one hand how many times I felt motivated to do it. Waiting for motivation is the guaranteed way to quit what you're trying to do. I tell my patients and my wrestlers, motivation is for suckers. Here's the fix. Understand the reality that you don't feel good before the workout. You feel good after the workout. You don't want to work out? Great. Just do it anyway, Nike. And then you have all the positive thoughts and feelings afterwards. Motivation does not create action. Action creates motivation. That's the way it is. Mistake number 2, comparing themselves to their younger days. Men compare who they are now to who they were in their 20s or 30s. That gives them the "I can't do that anymore" attitude. And since they can't do what they used to, well, they do nothing at all. I see it in men all the time. And here's the fix. Let the past go. Stop living in the past. Focus on where you are now and where you're going as you grow into your second 50 years. Focus on what you can do. And then as you act on that over time, what you can do grows bigger and bigger. And mistake number 3, thinking small improvements don't matter. No matter how manly we like to think we are, there's that little bratty part of our brain that wants everything right now. Right? I call it our inner child. It's like Veruca Salt and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Like, remember that song she sang? I want it all and I want it now, or something like that. But we all have that in our head. So we work out and then we realize we're not completely jacked yet for a week. What a waste of time. This doesn't work. And we quit. Honestly, brother, this happens for a lot more than just exercise. And here's the fix. Realize that small improvements in life is all there really is. Big improvements over short periods of time, that only happens in the movies. That's not real. Every day you work towards anything, it's putting a penny in a piggy bank. On one day, you can't even notice it. But over time, that piggy gets heavy. And you realize you've built something substantial. You've built something real. It's small improvements repeated over years that create completely different lives. There is no other way. As a physical therapist, I would honestly say 70 to 80% of the time I go into people's houses, aging men are failing while the aging woman is still thriving. I spent half my day trying to shake men awake to what I'm sharing with you right now. I tell men they need a reason for strength, challenge, and purpose in their second 50 years. But society, the medical community, and even culture of male decline, it's not giving them any reasons. I can often predict a man's future simply by listening to how he talks, because the body follows the mind. The men who say, "It sucks to get old," "I can't do that anymore," or "Those days are over," or "What's the point?" Those men always continue declining. And I'm going to be honest with you, most of them, they never wake up. They never make a new decision. They never take new action. They just continue fading. Then they become frail and dependent years before they should, and they wonder how it happened. And then they die before their time. Brother, it doesn't suck to get old. It sucks finally paying the bill for decades of bad decisions. I see it every day. And here's the worst part. Most men don't die when their heart finally stops beating. They die years earlier. They die when they decide growth is no longer worth the effort. The day they stopped trying and surrendered their fierce masculinity. Most of these guys, they're still biologically male, but they no longer think, move, or act like a man. Men that accept comfort, decline, and debility always fade before their time. And then we're made to believe this is normal. I see this every single day, and I don't want it to happen to you. This is why Second 50 Strong is really here. This is what it's about. It's not just about barbells, proper eating, and finding new purpose. Those are just the tools we use. This channel is made for men who don't want to surrender their masculinity just because they're getting older. Men who choose growth over decline at every age. Men who understand that there is no neutral, that you're either growing or you're dying every single day, and you need to make that choice. And you make it by your actions you choose. If this message resonates with you, subscribe and stick around. And if you're tired of being told to slow down, I pinned a free copy in the comments of the Apex Predator Mindset. It's a manifesto for men who refuse to fade. Read it and let me know what you think. Then decide what kind of man you're going to be. Every man must answer these questions for themselves. Is it worth it? Why bother? Why give the time? My answer is simple. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're still here, as long as you still have another rep left in life, the answer is absolutely yes. And always remember, most men fade, but you're not most men.